I'm Gavin Boyter, and this is my experimental story channel. This is the third story I'm going to read for you today. As with all of them, it's based on 5 words chosen by a random online text generator. And the words that have been chosen for today's story are here. I should say that I don't veto any of the word choices. Whatever the system gives me, I have to work with. And every story is 1,000 words exactly, because I'm a pedant. Anyway, this one is called Welcome to the Hereafter. Shading his forehead from the relentless sunlight with the empty jerry can, school careers advisor Bruce Benedict looked at his watch. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He'd been waiting for the bus for 75 minutes. Surely, way out here in the Dust Bowl, somebody should have had the foresight to build a shelter. Bruce sat in the shade offered by a giant cactus on an oddly shaped boulder he kept having to drag around to keep it in shadow. There had been no car since the run-down jalopy an hour ago, and Bruce regretted not thumbing a lift. He'd been forced to abandon his car at the crossroads 2 miles back. Its fuel gauge had fooled him again, the Mustang spluttering to a stop with the needle squarely in the black. Perhaps there was a hole in the petrol tank. Perhaps he should have checked it before he left the city for the metropolis for the convention. What on earth? An unearthly brightening, somewhere in the direction of the metropolis. He'd seen a pale bloom of light behind him earlier and guessed atmospheric disturbance, perhaps a storm coming. This looked more ominous, although he couldn't say what it resembled or why he felt a sickening welling up of fear. Christ, he was going to die of heatstroke out here. Bruce's phone battery had long given up the ghost, and he had no way of recharging it without heading back to the car. Wait a minute. There, in the shimmering heat haze, in the direction of the metropolis, a bus? No, a car. He could thumb a lift back to the nearest gas station. At last, a scrap of luck. The car was a red convertible, a vintage Chevy, driven by a tanned and beautiful young brunette in a pair of Daisy Dukes and a top that could best be described as minimal. A boob tube, the kids called it. She was wearing mirror shades and a 10-gallon hat. The car skidded to a halt and Bruce prepared his most obsequious smile. She lowered her shades and looked at him with pale green eyes. She was chewing gum and barely 2 or 3 years older than the kids he habitually sent to the sawmill or call centre to look for entry-level employment. Man, do you look like you need a lift, she said, flashing pearly white teeth. I'm Delilah. I'm heading for the beach. Where can I drop you? Hop in. He tried the door on the passenger side. It was locked. She shook her head. Jammed, fella. Hop on over. He climbed over, awkwardly, and slumped into the hot leatherette beside Delilah. Bruce, my car ran out of gas. I'm heading to the metropolis. Oh, no, you aren't, she said. You're coming to the beach with me. What? He smiled uneasily. I just need some gas. The gas station's on fire. City's full of rioters, and the metropolis just exploded. Nuclear power station. Terrorists, they say. The safest place is in a beach hut by the sea. A flicker of remembrance illuminated some memories in Bruce, then faded. Don't worry, Brucey, everyone's forgetting. I'm immune to it. I'm one of the 0.2%. You just got lucky. She looked him up and down before gunning the engine. You're not a bad-looking fella either. Sandy will dig you. She likes him older and square. The incident. He could remember what the news called it, but not anything else. In a daze, Bruce looked at Delilah, disturbed and afraid. She looked back at him with a show of concern. Oh, don't worry, baby, you'll be fine. Look, borrow my hat, get some shut-eye. It's a 3-hour drive, and your head's as red as a beetroot. She took her hat off and plonked it onto his head. Bruce let go of the jerry can he was still reflexively clutching, tilted the hat back, and closed his eyes. He woke to Delilah shaking his shoulder vigorously whilst driving with one hand. Sirens were wailing behind them. Bruce turned to see a line of 4 police cars sashaying after them. Delilah had to be driving at least 140 kilometres an hour. I need you to steer, honey, she said. Delilah let go of the wheel and lifted a tin can from her lap. On its lid, she had half-rolled a joint. Alarmed, Bruce grabbed the wheel. Delilah completed her spliff, put it in Bruce's mouth and lit it. For hijinks like these, you need dope, she opined. He tried to protest, but he had a lit joint in his mouth and the wheel in both hands. With her foot still on the accelerator, Delilah twisted, leaned over into the back seat and grabbed a pistol, firing off a few shots in the general direction of the cops. Jesus H, Bruce shouted. What are you doing? Looking down at her twisted posture, as if that's what Bruce was referring to, Delilah winked. Don't fret, honey, I'm ambidextrous. Why are police after you? And why are you shooting at them? After us, she corrected. Warning shots, Brucey. Once we're over the state line in about 3 minutes, it's plain sailing until the coast. So it was. 108 terrifying seconds later, they passed the state marker, and the cop car slowed and shrank to dots in the rear-view mirror. 20 minutes later, they hit the foaming breakers and curvaceous dunes of the Pacific coast. Delilah turned off onto a dirt track. Soon they were driving over hot sand towards a colourful line of beach huts. There were people on the sand, people in the surf, carefree people, people with memories, people who had chosen to forget. Welcome to Hereafter, Delilah laughed, waving to the folks down on the sand. Hey guys, she yelled, picked up a new recruit. Play nice, he's amnesiac. The kids ran towards the car as Delilah braked in a spray of sand. Well, thought Bruce Benedict, there could be worse places to sit out the apocalypse. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it.